Okay, so I want to talk about something I would always think about. So I started thinking about how God is the reason why we are here, and He's the reason why we have everything. He gave us our hair color, our eye color, our mouth, our nose, our legs, everything. And I started thinking, when somebody gives you a compliment, just think about that. God's the one who created you in your mother's womb. He knew what kind of eye color you were going to have. He knew what kind of hair color you were going to have. He knew what kind of nose you were going to have. He knew what kind of mouth you were going to have. He knew what kind of body type you were going to have. So when you hear somebody give you a compliment, let's say somebody comes up to you, says, "You have the most beautiful eyes I've ever seen in my life." Now, just hearing me say that after what I just said, who does it sound like they're complimenting? Are they complimenting you, or are they complimenting God because He's the one who created you? Now, a lot of people might not like this message because when somebody gives us a compliment on our looks, we like to take credit for it and we like to say, "Oh, thank you." And then we start thinking, "Oh, this person thinks I look so good and it's just so awesome." And it's like, well, what do you have to do with it? You didn't do anything to make yourself look the way you do, and you didn't make them like the way you look either. So, and I know nowadays, you can get plastic surgery, you can do things to alter your looks and stuff like that. In that case, you might be able to give them credit and say, um, if they say, "I like your nose," and you just got a nose job and you told the doctor you want your nose to look like this, and they say you have a great nose, then maybe you could take credit for that. But even then, God still, if it wasn't for God, you wouldn't even have a nose at all. So none of us can really take credit for anything that we do, whether it's our looks, our personality, nothing, because God is the one who gave us all of that. Now, yes, I'm not saying God's going to tell you to do bad things or sinful things or nothing like that, but I'm just saying when you got people, there's lots of people, the reason why they are so insecure about their looks is because they the reason why they're so insecure about their looks is because when somebody says something bad about the way you look, they feel that you feel like they're insulting you. But really, they are insulting God if they tell you that you're ugly, or they tell you you're fat, or they tell. Now, as far as gaining weight, again, that's something we usually bring on ourselves, but still, if somebody says that they don't like the way you look, like let's say somebody comes up to you and says, "I don't like girls with black hair. I think black hair is ugly." And they're basically calling you ugly because you got black hair. And it's like, okay, well, if you think even though it hurts your feelings, it's like, who are they really insulting by saying that? They're insulting God because He's the one who created you. So next time somebody calls you ugly or calls you fat, even though it hurts your feelings, even if it hurts your feelings, just remember they're not insulting you. They're insulting God by saying that. I don't like the way, I don't like the way everybody looks either. I'm not going to look at every single person around me and say, "Oh, aren't they just so good looking?" There are some people who I think are better looking than others, and I can't really help that. But I'm not going to sit here and say, um, you know, I'm not going to say anything bad about God because of the way they look, because God wanted them to look that way, and just because I don't like it doesn't mean other people are not going to like it. So yeah, you don't necessarily have to like the way everybody looks in order to be a nice person or be a good Christian, but you can, if you don't like the way somebody looks, you can at least, not say anything about it. And I know that's hard because I know we're all very judgmental and we always have something to say about somebody's looks. But yeah, that was just something I felt like I needed to share for some reason, because it's almost like we just try to take credit for everything that God gives us. And, someone says, you got, if it's, if someone's giving you a compliment on something you did yourself, that's different. But if somebody's giving you a compliment on something God gave you, you got to say, well, I can't take credit because God's the one who did it all.